You're listening to The Raw Reaction with Alex Goff on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
If you didn't check out that great pay-per-view, go read the recap on AngryMarks.com, diligently written up by the boss man, Stevie J. Also, check out the post-pay-per-view podcast that we did. Myself, King J, CR, and chat room regular Chris Judd in there with the discussion on the pay-per-view last night. Great fun. Check it out. But that leads us up to WWE Raw tonight.
And Friday is Ciara's birthday.
Yes, Ciara's birthday. She is old enough to drink, ladies and gentlemen. Buy her a good one.
Yes, this evening presented us with an edition of Monday Night Raw. And not to open up the show, but tonight on commentary we had the team of JBL and Jim Ross. Michael Cole was a little bit held back tonight. He wasn't his normal Michael Cole annoying self. Overall, what were your thoughts on the commentary tonight?
You know, I actually made this comment last night. Last night they brought in JBL to do the commentary, and I made the point last night I was really happy that they didn't go with Jim Ross, simply for the fact that I just felt that with the character, the issue that these two characters have had with each other over the last couple of years, it would just immediately dip into some animosity that we really kind of didn't need to go to in light of everything. So I was a little bit surprised to see that they brought back Jim Ross tonight, but they had JBL there as well. And you're right, Michael Cole was very much reserved. Actually appreciated him wearing the Long Live the King t-shirt. And he just kind of took a little bit of a back seat tonight. He didn't have to be his heel character, you know, and the great thing I liked about the commentary is JBL can be a heel without being a disrespectful, rude, sniveling, conniving heel like Michael Cole's heel character is. JBL can just be a guy that can come in and just be the straight man, but also still be the heel. He can tell it like it is from his perspective, but not really have to bury us in tons of bullshit to do it.
Well, I mean, the three heel commentators that come to mind when we talk about WWF heel commentators are Jesse the Body Ventura, Bobby Heenan, and Jerry the King Lawler, and they all had a sense of credibility to themselves because they were performers at one point. And I think that on top of the grating, annoying Michael Cole persona, the fact is that he didn't lend himself to much credibility. I mean, he started off as a backstage interviewer and became a color commentator on SmackDown, where him and Taz, when they felt disrespected, did a very good job, but he was never known as the best color commentator, and that kind of bled over into his heel persona, where the people always wanted Jim Ross more. And if we get a more serious Cole to where he can flex his wings, because let's be honest, I mean, Cole has made strides these past few years. Whenever he has decided to drop the heel persona, he's actually called really good matches, in my opinion. So if this is a linchpin, I guess, to introduce the new good guy Cole persona, I hate how it had to come about, but I'm happy that it came about, because I think going forward, I want to see this more from Cole. Let someone else come in there and be the bad guy, but Cole shouldn't be, the bad guy,
Well, Cole has always been a really good, straightforward guy. I mean, he comes from a traditional broadcast journalism background. He knows how to tell a story. That's not hard for Cole to do. It's just that Cole is just not a natural heel. Jerry Lawler, natural heel. He's done it all his life. Michael Cole is not. And the fact that they forced this heel character on him a couple of years ago, it's just really sad, because I thought it really did take away from the fact that this guy is a great storyteller. And that's really lost on the Michael Cole character these days. So I really hope that WWE takes advantage of this and, flips it back. I mean, I'm not going to mind if Michael Cole occasionally decides, what, as a commentator, it's okay to say I don't like this guy. For whatever reason, even if it is a good guy, it's okay to hold, to hold some respect for a heel. But you don't have to go over the top like they do with Michael Cole all the time. And if I got that level of honesty out of both of the commentators, I don't think I'd ever have a bad thing to say about a commentary team at all. I'll give you a good example. Mike Tenay and Taz. Over on TNA Impact Wrestling. Taz, is most of the time fairly neutral, but on occasion, he'll side with a heel on something. And when he does it in the same vein that JBL does it. He's fairly cool, calm, collected. He doesn't have to go over the top to get your point across.
Yeah, so maybe this is a role that, because from what I understand, JBL's climbing Mount Kilimanjaro later this week. So maybe this will be an opportunity maybe to give Mick Foley a chance to do commentary, because I enjoyed Mick Foley as an analyst. So we'll see what the future brings. But tonight, we've discussed a long time about the commentary, and tonight there was a Raw show that was more than commentary. The show opened up with Paul Heyman coming to the ring. They brought out Chad Patton, who's the referee. Basically, last night, the pay-per-view, for those who didn't see it, it ended in a double pin. Basically, it was a German off the top rope by John Cena, and an awesome match he had with CM Punk. And both shoulders were down. The referee counted it. And double pin, CM Punk retains. And basically, CM Punk and John Cena and Paul Heyman come out for this opening show 25-minute promo, as usual. And it's... Overall, I didn't really care for it, Kev, and I want to get your thoughts on it. They really this whole promo would have made more sense, I guess, if these guys were new to each other, but we saw the same feud last year and a couple times in between, I feel like. CM Punk and John Cena doesn't exactly feel new to me, so the fact that John Cena wants to get a win over CM Punk, I don't really understand how it drives him that much. Kev, what are your thoughts?
Really, the fact that they brought out the referee to explain their actions again, I'm like, did we just have this like a month or two ago with Heyman and Brock Lesnar?
Yeah, I believe we did, yeah.
Why are we recycling gimmicks like this? This is really lazy writing. It was a really lazy 20 minutes. CM Punk wants to talk about not being respected. I feel disrespected as a fan.
And how so?
WWE insulting me with these boring 20-minute promos and recycling gimmicks again. I mean, really, show some respect for my 3 hours that you want me to give you here. And you start out your first hour like this? Absolutely horrible.
This was very long, and later this sets up a tag team match between Sheamus and John Cena versus CM Punk and Alberto Del Rio.
Yay!
And, so there we go. AJ comes out in the middle of this. Match 1, Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara.
You know what?
Primo and Epico. What are you going to say, Kev?
This just came to me. It's like AJ, I swear to God, somehow got a hold of of Peanut Head's SmackDown general manager booking planogram.
I thought Teddy Long was your favorite. I remember the WrestleMania podcast we did where you expounded on the virtues of Teddy Long.
Teddy Long is a great man. He was a great general manager, but come on, you gotta realize at some point, part of what caused the decline of the character, what was the planogram. Or not the planogram, or you know what I'm talking about.
The planogram. Go on more about this planogram.
Planogram. I'm thinking from my job now. Somebody in the chat, the flow chart. Thank you. The management flow chart. Did you, I'm sure I've sent you the picture of this, haven't I, Alex?
I've not seen this, no.
Okay. The flow chart starts like this. 2 competitors are in the ring. The first question on the flow chart. Do these 2 competitors have heat with each other? If the answer is no, then the next answer on the flow chart is the Undertaker available? If the answer is yes, then the answer is tonight you're in a match with the Undertaker. If they don't have animosity with each other, then the next question on the flow chart is like, are there 2 other characters that have animosity with each other? If the answer is yes, then the answer is tonight's main event two of these guys will be going up against two of these other guys. Holla holla.
Yes, and AJ has gone from dressing like a mini Stephanie McMahon to a mini small child, I guess, with clothes that don't fit and ridiculous looking outfits. So,
gosh, Jesus Christ! What? I thought WWE had like a fashion consultant.
But yeah, enough about this. I mean, I
think the fashion consultant is the girl from Honey Boo Boo Child now.
I'm just generally not a fan of these opening segments, and I've gone over that before. And yes, generally they just, I don't know, I'm not really a fan. The first match, like I said, was Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara versus Primo and Epico. And I really like this. The whole time I was thinking, why couldn't this have been done from when they debuted Sin Cara? You know, because all the time I hear about how Sin Cara's a failure. Tonight, I mean, I thought it was awesome. I loved what they did with the match. The match wasn't, tremendous by no means, but both guys were super over. Both the faces looked really good, and they worked together really well, I thought. I really enjoyed this match, and the post-match with the primetime players coming out and beating them up. Darren Young didn't really cut an effective promo, but Titus O'Neil did, and this whole segment, I give 2 thumbs up. I was a huge fan, Kev.
If I could have 3 thumbs, I would give it 3 thumbs up. I mean, really, this match tonight, I think restores a little bit of my faith, because coming into the pay-per-view last night, we had, a week ago, the primetime players were your number 1 contenders, and AJ says, no, you guys aren't the number 1 contenders because you haven't beaten all the teams. You haven't beaten this tag team that I just put together 10 minutes ago, Daniel Bryan and Kane. Daniel Bryan and Kane beats them, and now they're the number 1 contenders. They compete for the titles last night, and Daniel Bryan and Kane win the tag team titles. And I was like, you know what? This is a bunch of fucking bullshit. You give me 3 months of building up the primetime players, trying to make me believe as a fan that they're the number 1 contenders, and then all the fucking sudden they're not. If I could have thrown a shoe through my television, I would have. However, redemption tonight. I wish the primetime players had done this last night. Understandably why you may not want to try to attack Daniel Bryan and Kane. Daniel Bryan is the American Dragon. Kane breathes fire. Probably not the best idea. They'll crisp your ass in the ring. However, perfect attack on Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara tonight to put over the fact that the primetime players are not gone yet. And you're right. Darren Young, not too great on the promo. Titus O'Neil, fucking balls on the promo here. Absolutely loved it. Going back a little bit further into the match itself, great match, and you're right. Why didn't they do this sooner with Sin Cara? Well, I know why, because Rey Mysterio was injured / suspended / whining about his pay. So Mysterio was out of the picture for quite a while. But they got Mysterio in the picture now. Whatever botcha fantastic issues that Sin Cara's had over the last year seems to finally be smoothed over. I've not had any complaints about him in the ring for a while now. And putting Rey Mysterio in a tag team, I actually feel like we're getting the best out of both guys. Really wish they'd tone down the 619 rhetoric a little bit. Go to some other moveset for Rey Mysterio. Take that off the table for a little bit. This would be perfect. They had a great match with Epico and Primo. I had no complaints about it. Strong opening match.
Exactly. It was kind of the best of both worlds because Sin Cara isn't really effective in a singles match. And Rey Mysterio at this point, I mean, while you can have a good singles match, it's got to paint by the numbers. And there's a lot more mileage you can get out of these two guys, putting them in a tag team. And, I was a huge fan of this. And the primetime players, while, it seemed logically for them to go after the tag team titles, I guess, it really doesn't make a lot of sense because Kane and this Daniel Bryan storyline is clearly going to go on for a little while. And if the primetime players, when they're ready to beat them, I think it would be more effective. But you don't want the primetime players losing to this, makeshift team of Kane and Daniel Bryan. So, I was a big fan of this segment overall, like I said. Just 2 thumbs up.
I'm just really happy that the primetime players have not disappeared, because my biggest fear was that once Abraham Washington disappeared, that their whole gimmick would just be scrapped and this was done, and we were basically just winding them down. Putting them over like this restores my faith that they have confidence in these two guys, and I am very confident that these two guys will be very strong tag team competitors. They'll lift this division up and make things look better overall.
There you are. So, as long as they're interested in it, at least. The next match was Beth Phoenix against Eve, a non-title match. I thought this match was really bad. Layla was bad on commentary. Eve did an awkward stare down with Layla. Layla said some of the right things. You could tell, like, she was told to say, I don't really trust Eve. I don't really believe her. But it just came across as real bad. I didn't think this was a very good segment at all. What were your thoughts, Kev?
Well, somehow I managed to miss, like, almost all this match. But from what I was told, Beth Phoenix looked pretty bad. Her punches looked sloppy. She didn't look believable as a wrestler in the ring. Eve didn't really look any better. And the only good part about Layla being out there is she looked really cute tonight. I don't mean to be sexist,
but I think the camera showed him at an angle where you could clearly tell she wasn't making any connection at all. So I think it was a combination of maybe bad camera work and whatever. But, yeah, I mean, overall, I didn't really think anyone looked good in this segment. And they're clearly building toward a Eve-Layla rematch instead of going straight to the Caitlyn match, which they may or may not ever do. The next match was Heath Slater versus Brodus Clay. Cameron's back off suspension, which actually she came back last night on the pre-show to Night of Champions. Brodus Clay won. He danced with some kids.
Yeah, standard Brodus Clay match. Nothing big here. Moving on.
Miz comes out, debuts Miz TV. He interviews Booker T. I mean, I'm tired of these TV concepts. Or not TV concepts, excuse me, but these interview concepts. It seems like they had one really effective one and the Roddy Piper one. And I remember as a kid some matches being built up off of Brother Love show. But it's like in the last few years, these concepts aren't effective anymore. So I don't understand why they do them.
Yeah,
I'm just not a big fan of these interview style television segments they do on Raw. What are your thoughts, Kev?
Yeah, I agree that the interview lounge chair tonight show thing, whatever that they've been trying to do, has become more and more ineffective over the last several years. The return of the Peep Show, the return of the Edge, whatever, the Rated RKO Corral. I mean, it's just getting more and more ridiculous with what they're doing, and it's not really getting anything over, because the only point of it is either for whoever is hosting the show to attack the person they're questioning, or the person they're questioning completely flips their shit and the guest has to run, or the host has to run.
What's interesting is that when these segments were used in the past, we didn't see a lot of Hulk Hogan on television. So when Hogan did a Brother Love show or something, it was always to build up to a big match.
Right.
And we see these guys on TV every week. So I'm not a big fan of the concept. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it either, but, tonight it just seemed particularly dumb. Miz brings out Booker T just to antagonize him, and Booker T, the general manager of SmackDown, decides he's just going to make a match in the middle of Raw. And he brings out Ryback.
Which means this is signifying Ryback's first feud with a wrestler of note.
Which would be fine, except I'd expect Miz to completely tear this fool apart.
I actually think Ryback will squash them all, Raven and Goldberg.
You know what? If that happens, I'm going to be really pissed. I mean, because the Miz, he's a Triple Crown champion now, for God's sakes. He's been a world champion. He's a very skilled and cunning individual. Ryback's just a goddamn meathead who wants more to eat.
So the Sin Cara feud ended with Sin Cara putting a mask on The Miz?
Yeah, sure. I'll take that. And then the Miz turned around and pinned Cody Rhodes to retain his title. Works for me. Way to transition.
Backstage,
I'll take that.
Josh Matthews attempts to ask CM Punk if he's looking forward to teaming with Alberto Del Rio. CM Punk responds, this was just another example of how he gets no respect. I kind of like the Paul Heyman Punk dynamic.
Yeah.
Santino Marella lost to Dolph Ziggler.
Nothing big there. Hey, let me ask you this. Since we mentioned it, Ryback came out in Miz's segment and started picking up the furniture and throwing it out of the ring. Do you think Hulk Hogan is going to give Vince McMahon his deposit back at Rent-A-Center for that stuff? Just asking.
Wade Barrett, Justin Gabriel. This was a battle of two former Nexus members. Wade Barrett is advertising what you can buy because he wants to be a hitman, I guess. Wade Barrett wins. Okay, Wade Barrett wins the match. He wants to be a hitman. What are your thoughts on that? And not the hitman Bret Hart. He wants to be a hitman. What are your thoughts on that, Kev?
That's fine. I'm actually digging the new Wade Barrett. It's more distinctive, I think. I like the beardage. That actually looks good on him. It's a little bit distinctive, although Justin Gabriel now has this beardage too, and strangely enough, it looks good on him. I thought this was a good match. It really showed off two of the best guys from Nexus. No complaints about the match at all. Here's, what is the name of Wade Barrett's finish?
The Wasteland, isn't it?
No, he's using, though that was the old one where he picked him up and then just like threw him down on the mat. He's knocking people out with the right hand now.
Okay. I don't know the name of this move.
Is he calling it the Barrett Barrage?
Sure.
Here's a question. Which is more devastating of a right hand, the Barrett Barrage or the Big Show's WMD?
The Big Show's WMD. He knocked out more people with it. Duh.
Well, yeah, but he's used it longer. Which is more devastating? Not
the Big Show's punch.
You think the Big Show's punch is still more devastating?
100%. Do you think he's going to be the guy to come in and feud with Sheamus next? They can't roll out another Alberto Del Rio Sheamus match on pay-per-view, do you think?
Oh, God, I hope not. I don't think I could take another one. I mean, granted, like I said last night, I love these two guys. I love how they work together. I want to see them fight again, but maybe not like in the next 6 months. Let's put a little bit of distance between them. Give them somebody else to go after. And for God's sakes, stop giving Del Rio excuses, for not winning matches. I've had it. Either he loses completely cleanly, like he did last night, and we're done with it, or put the man over, for God's sake. Is there anything wrong with that? Can we actually put Del Rio over? Can we finally give him the title shot that he's due? Can we finally make him a WWE World Heavyweight Champion? I don't think that's too unreasonable.
What are your thoughts on product placement?
Product placement. As long as it's tastefully done, sure. What product was placed?
Subway. You missed this entire Subway skit?
Apparently, what was it?
Jared was giving out Subway sandwiches to superstars based off their personality. He gave one to Kofi and R-Truth, and then he forgot Little Jimmy, so he had to give Little Jimmy one. Zack Ryder, Damian Sandow, and finally Ryback was all recipients of Subway sandwiches.
Oh, awesome. Okay. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I like that then. Yeah, sorry I missed that. I think I had to reboot my computer during that time, but Little Jimmy didn't get one?
Little Jimmy ended up getting one.
Oh, he did get one.
The skit was overall pretty terrible, but I understand. You make a lot of money, and they have 3 hours, and if they can make money off of this, because from what I understand, a lot of the ad revenue doesn't, or any of it doesn't go to the company. So, they make money off this. So that's good, I guess. When you see it in so many shows now, like Jimmy Kimmel does product placement, almost every show you watch now, they'll have some Dasani water sitting out there or something. So, fortunately, when you podcast, it's kind of difficult to do product placement, but, yeah, whatever. It's a business. Jerry Lawler's returning home to Memphis this week. That's good news.
Let me ask you this on a sidetrack. Subway is a corporate sponsor of WWE and USA Network, right?
Yes.
How do they feel about Brock Lesnar being sponsored by Jimmy John's?
Um,
And why can't Heath Slater get an endorsement from Wendy's? Just saying.
I don't know. I'm
Burning
actually
question.
surprised that more wrestlers haven't discussed doing sponsorships on their gear, I guess.
You know, that would be really interesting. What if WWE could defray the costs of how much they pay their talent by how much endorsements they can bring in themselves?
I mean, all the guys have, T-shirts that are, company, but they get a lot of money from selling their T-shirts too, which is why all the guys wear it. I mean, it's just interesting that no one else has really decided, hey, I don't know. It's interesting. I guess Brock Lesnar kind of fits though, because coming from the UFC, they all had sponsorships, and it would look awkward if he wore shorts with no sponsorships, I guess. But I don't know. It's just interesting. I think it set a precedence, but I don't think anyone else is going to be able to do it for a long time, I guess.
Yeah, you would really have to be a high profile person. Brock Lesnar was groundbreaking into it, but I can't see anybody else who could do it.
John Cena.
Maybe Cena. He's just a damn promo machine. Maybe The Rock. That's it. I can't think of anybody else who would garner that level of interest where an advertiser could see benefits from having them walk out in a t-shirt with their ad on the back of it.
Yeah, there's definitely not too many. The next match was the World Tag Team Champions. I'm not sure if this was a title match, but Daniel Bryan and Kane, who beat Boom Truth last night, and they had their rematch against Boom Truth tonight. Kane and Daniel Bryan are getting really popular with their interactions. So now they created a scenario to where they'll always have to interact. I was a big fan of it before. Now it's starting to drain on me a little bit. I don't know, because I hope they don't make them have a long title run is all I can say, because when you have a tag team feud earlier in the night between the primetime players and Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio, that was really interesting. Kane and Daniel Bryan, they're not going to have interesting dynamics with the other teams. It's just going to be with each other. So hopefully this doesn't last for an extended period of time. What were your thoughts, Kev?
Do I have anything to say? I'm going to Disneyland!
I'm sorry, I just had to throw that drop in there as well. That was a really good drop from last night. One of the funniest moments from last night. Yeah, I agree. I like Daniel Bryan and Kane as a tag team, but it's quickly becoming a novelty act. I'm not even sure if I can respect them in the same way that like you had Miz and Big Show team up a couple years ago. So, or even Jericho and Big Show. They were kind of novelty acts in themselves, but they're really talented. And don't get me wrong, Daniel Bryan and Kane are really talented, but if this is just all going to be about their anger management issues, then it's like, well, fuck the tag team division again. It doesn't matter what the primetime players are doing. And I don't want that. I want to see competitive tag teams. If Daniel Bryan and Kane can get in there and be a competitive tag team, I'm fine with it. If it's just going to be like the tag team version of Santino Marella, fuck it. Move on.
The only time I've seen this done, and I actually enjoyed it, was Candido and Lance Storm, when they were opposing people who feuded. I know it was done again with Matt Hardy and MVP, but my favorite time was Lance Storm and Candido from ECW in 1998. Really big fan of the feuding tag team champions and the way they did it there.
Yeah.
The next match was a rematch of SmackDown. Randy Orton, Tensai. It was a match. What are your thoughts, Kev?
Yeah, it was a match.
Heyman and Punk are approached by Otunga and Del Rio. They both speak through their managers. And then they were very cordial to each other. It went on a long time. I enjoyed it though. I thought it was pretty funny skit. Just building toward later. Damian Sandow wrestled Zack Ryder. And Sandow won. Do you have any thoughts on the last 3 segments?
Damian Sandow plus Antonio Cesaro plus Matt Stryker equals the new heel stable of School Haze.
I
mean, because all they're focused on is just coming out and giving people lectures on their grammar and language skills. And sometimes Matt Stryker will teach math too.
I mean, it's just...
Although I heard anatomy is really his strong suit, but...
It's really interesting that, there had to be some teacher that Vince McMahon really just hated. Because he's always gone to this hand of the teacher who's annoying.
How do you not get Lanny Poffo back in this?
I don't know. He's really old. He doesn't look like the genius anymore.
I swear to God, Lanny Poffo looks more jacked than he ever did when he was a wrestler. I mean,
really?
Yeah, really. You've not seen him over the years? I mean,
no, I can't say I've seen him past maybe 12 years.
I mean, he's got a neck that's like the size of a number 10 can.
He was under WCW contract for years and never did anything.
Doesn't surprise me. It was WCW. They I swear they had like 1 million veterans in reserve just in case something happened. I mean, I don't know if it's, a case of, oh my God, you're telling me, Alex, Das Wonder Kid can't perform tonight? Quick! Somebody call Lanny Poffo.
Yeah, like, there were so many regime changes that people would get signed and people weren't aware they had been signed and they sat at home and collected a paycheck. Like Lanny Poffo was an example of that.
More regime changes than an Afghan revolution.
On that note, the next match was the main event, Sheamus and John Cena versus Punk and Del Rio. Believe it or not, Kevin, you might not believe me, the finish was John Cena pinning Punk with Punk's foot on the rope.
Didn't I just complain at the start of the show? Why are they recycling angles?
I believe he did.
Why the hell are we taking the finish to Del Rio's match from a pay-per-view or two ago?
SummerSlam, that was.
Yeah. Why? Once again, referee not paying attention, foot on the rope, heel complains, yada yada yada. This match was really boring. Not interested in it at all. No disrespect. All 4 guys involved in the match are really talented men. This main event was just a waste of my time. Had nothing to do with either guy's titles. Didn't advance a storyline at all.
Yep, so it was just a match. They have Hell in a Cell in a few weeks. Well, it's actually, I believe 6 weeks is the end of October. So they had time to develop whatever they're going to end up doing. That was Monday Night Raw. There was one segment that I thoroughly enjoyed, and the rest of it was just a show.
Yeah, pretty much just a show. And that's a good summary for it. Just a show.
And unfortunately, with it being 3 hours, it kind of sucks that it's just a show. But that seems to be the lot in life. What's going on this week on the website, Kev?
Well, tomorrow night, Tuesday night AMP, 9 p.m. with Frank Von and Ciara. I'm sure they're going to go in depth with the pay-per-view results. They will probably have a lot to say about Jerry Lawler and other events that have come up in the news. Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Glove Up or Shut Up with Peter H. and Stevie J. Not quite sure who we're going to have on the show because apparently we got into a bit of a booking snafu. We talked about bringing on Nick to talk about upcoming UFC show. And apparently one host thought we were talking about Nick Kalikias, who is the owner of betonfighting.com, and he's an odds maker, and we've had him on the show before. And another host thought we meant Nick Caliglia, who is the promoter of Rec MMA in Canada, who is, of course, a foremost expert in martial arts. So I'm not sure who we're having on when or who's doing what, but we're going to have an episode of Glove Up or Shut Up with Nick Wednesday night. So So we'll figure out what it is. Still not sure yet. Also not sure what we're doing for Thursday night AMP at 9 p.m. We're having some last minute lineup changes on that. Once I get it, some actual confirmation on who it is, we'll announce it here on the website, of course. And then tune in at 11 o'clock with Seth Drake and Mike Poulin, the Impact Implosion. Time to cover the latest happenings in TNA Impact Wrestling. They're just coming off their own pay-per-view from 2 weeks ago as well, so definitely lots going on there with TNA. Friday night, 9:30 p.m., Over the Top Radio with Ed in San Antonio, Craig and Cottrell. And Saturday night, 5 p.m., SmackDown Rundown with Nikolai and King J covering the latest in SmackDown. They'll have a little bit to talk about on the pay-per-view as well. So check out all the great podcasts here on AngryMarks.com. Don't forget to go to the website to check out all the latest recaps, news, and information. Don't forget to check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/AngryMarks, and our Twitter feed at twitter.com/AngryMarks. You get live updates to our news feeds throughout the day right there in both of those sites. And check out youtube.com/AngryMarks.com, AngryMarks.com, the latest video highlights uploaded daily by Stevie J.
You're listening to The Raw Reaction with Alex Goff on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.